In the bustling metropolis of Centauri Prime, where the architecture was as diverse as its inhabitants, Greg Jennings, a young aerospace engineer from Earth, lived a life that was anything but ordinary. Since relocating to the alien planet under an interstellar work program, Greg had adapted to a lifestyle vastly different from his hometown in Idaho. Yet, nothing had prepared him for the day he would meet Alira. Alira, with her luminous blue skin and captivating silver eyes, was from the planet Thalassa. The Thalassans were known throughout the galaxy for their artistic talents and peaceful philosophy. They rarely ventured far from their oceanic world, making Alira's presence on Centauri Prime a delightful anomaly. She worked as a cultural ambassador, tasked with sharing her planet's rich traditions and art forms across the galaxy. Their first encounter occurred at a local market where Greg, intrigued by exotic fruits, was attempting to understand the bizarre pricing system of Centauri Prime. Alira, noticing his confusion, offered her assistance. Her voice, melodic and soothing, made Greg's initial embarrassment fade away, replaced by fascination. With her help, Greg not only navigated the complexities of the market, but also learned about the various galactic produce on offer. Thankful for her kindness and curious about her heritage, Greg asked Alira out for a coffee as a gesture of gratitude. To his delight, she accepted. Over coffee, their conversation quickly deepened beyond casual chit-chat. Alira spoke of Thalassa's vast oceans and sky-touching coral towers. Greg shared tales of Earth's green forests and sprawling cities. The more they talked, the more they found common ground in their shared sense of adventure and love for their respective homes. Encouraged by their effortless connection, they began to meet regularly. Greg introduced Alira to the thrills of hoverbike racing, a popular sport on Centauri Prime, while Alira took Greg to her favorite spots in the city, hidden gardens that mimicked the underwater beauty of Thalassa. As weeks turned into months, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. It wasn't just the thrill of sharing their cultures that drew them closer. It was also their mutual respect and the joy they found in each other's company. Greg admired Alira's passion for her work and her deep empathy for all beings. Alira was drawn to Greg's curiosity and his earnest efforts to make Centauri Prime feel like a home for both of them. One evening, as they watched the twin suns of Centauri Prime set from the balcony of Greg's apartment, the conversation turned to the future. Alira expressed her concern about the temporary nature of her assignment on the planet. Her contract would end in a year, and she would have to return to Thalassa. The thought of separation pained them both. They realized how deeply intertwined their lives had become. Not wanting to lose what they had found in each other, they began to explore the possibilities of extending Alira's stay, or perhaps Greg making the bold move to Thalassa with her. As they delved into these discussions, they knew they were standing at a crucial crossroad. The decisions they made now would define the future of their relationship. Greg felt a mix of excitement and fear at the thought of moving to another planet. But the prospect of being with Alira made every challenge seem surmountable. Their story, which began with a simple act of kindness in a market, was evolving into an extraordinary journey across the stars. As they planned their next steps, Greg and Alira were not just navigating the complexities of an interstellar relationship. They were also breaking new ground, setting an example for how two vastly different beings could come together and build a life filled with love, understanding, and mutual respect. Their journey was a testament to the power of connection, no matter the distance or differences, showing that perhaps, in the vast expanse of the galaxy, love was the most powerful force of all. As Greg and Alira continued to navigate the intricacies of their relationship and the looming uncertainty of their future together, they decided to use their time to deepen their understanding of each other's worlds. This mutual cultural exchange not only brought them closer but also enriched their lives on Centauri Prime. Greg took the initiative to learn Thalassan, the fluid and melodious language of Alira's people. He spent evenings with language apps and old-fashioned books that Alira had brought with her, practicing until he could manage basic conversations. Alira, in turn, took a keen interest in human history, marveling at Earth's diverse cultures, its historical conflicts and achievements. One weekend, they planned a special cultural day, where each would share significant aspects of their heritage. The day started with Alira teaching Greg how to prepare a traditional Thalassan meal. The cuisine was primarily seafood-based, which was a challenge for Greg, who had grown up mostly eating farm-raised meats and vegetables. The flavors were intense and exotic, seasoned with spices that Greg had never tasted before. Cooking together not only allowed them to share a piece of Alira's home, but also brought a lot of laughter to the kitchen, especially when Greg attempted to pronounce the names of the dishes in Thalassan. After the meal, it was Greg's turn to share a piece of his world. He chose to introduce Alira to a classic Earth activity, movie night. He had selected a few films that depicted iconic moments in human history, as well as some classic sci-fi hits, his personal favorites. Alira was fascinated by the stories, particularly by the historical films. She appreciated seeing the human emotions played out, something she could relate to despite the cultural differences. The movies sparked deep conversations about Earth's past struggles with war and peace, prompting Alira to share more about Thalassa's philosophy of harmony and balance. Thalassans had long ago resolved conflicts through dialogue and art, turning their potential strife into expressions of culture that enriched their society. This approach was something Greg found both intriguing and inspiring, considering the tumultuous history of his own planet. The exchange of culture didn't stop at food and films. Alira introduced Greg to Thalassan music, playing the swarai, a stringed instrument that produced sounds resembling the flow of water. Greg, who had a little guitar skill, attempted to accompany her on his acoustic guitar. The blending of sounds from their two worlds created a new kind of music, one that symbolized their growing bond. As their day of cultural exchange concluded, Greg and Alira sat on the balcony, looking out over the city lights of Centauri Prime. They felt a sense of accomplishment and joy from having shared such personal aspects of their cultures. "It's incredible," Alira mused, "how sharing our cultures doesn't just teach us about each other's histories or arts, but about each other's essence, how we see the world." Greg nodded in agreement. "Yeah, and it makes me realize how much more there is to learn, not just about Thalassa or Earth, but about how we can create something new together." Encouraged by their successful exchange, they made plans to visit a nearby cultural festival that celebrated the diversity of Centauri Prime. It was an opportunity to see how other species integrated and shared their cultures. As they prepared for the festival, they were unaware that this event would test their relationship in unexpected ways, challenging them to apply the lessons they had learned about each other and themselves. Their journey of cultural discovery was shaping them, teaching them that love, when nurtured by mutual respect and curiosity, could bridge any distance, even between stars. As they continued to explore and learn, their bond grew stronger, preparing them for the challenges ahead on their interstellar journey of love and integration. The cultural festival, known as the Festival of Lights on Centauri Prime, was a spectacular event that attracted beings from many planets. It was a celebration of unity and diversity, showcasing art, music, and traditions from across the galaxy. For Greg and Alira, it was more than just an event. It was a test of their ability to navigate their relationship through the crowd of diverse and sometimes conflicting ideologies. As they walked through the festival grounds, hand in hand, the air was vibrant with the sounds of music from different worlds, the savory and sweet scents of intergalactic cuisine, and the luminous displays of light that adorned every corner. Each booth offered a window into another culture, and both took deep interest in learning not just about each other's worlds, but about the broader universe. Their first stop was a music booth, where a band of Arquillians played complex rhythms that vibrated through the ground. Greg felt the music in his chest, a thrilling sensation that made him laugh with surprise. Alira, accustomed to the sensory richness of Thalassan arts, watched him with delight, her eyes reflecting the colorful lights. "This is what I love about music," Alira shouted over the din. "It's universal yet so unique to each culture." Greg nodded, swept up in the moment, his heart full from the shared joy. They spent the next few hours exploring, tasting dishes that were strange and wonderful, and discussing the intricate handcrafts displayed by artisans from various planets. However, as the evening progressed, they encountered a group of Xiphons, known for their conservative views about interspecies relationships. The Xiphons, covered in their traditional robes that shimmered against the festival lights, eyed Greg and Alira with undisguised disapproval. Sensing the shift in mood, Alira squeezed Greg's hand tighter, her expression turning serious. "Maybe we should move on," she suggested, trying to steer clear of potential conflict. Greg, feeling the weight of their stares, agreed reluctantly. As they walked away, he felt a mix of frustration and sadness. "Does it always have to be this way?" he asked, his voice tinged with bitterness. Alira stopped, facing him. "It's hard, I know. But remember, not everyone will understand or accept us. The important thing is that we understand and accept each other." Her words, wise and reassuring, helped soothe Greg's ruffled emotions. They decided not to let the incident spoil their evening and continued to immerse themselves in the festival's offerings. Later that night, they arrived at the highlight of the festival, the light dance, a performance where dancers from different worlds used light and shadows to tell stories. The performance was a breathtaking blend of technology and art, creating visuals that depicted tales of unity and division, war and peace, love and loss. Watching the dance, Greg and Alira felt a profound connection to the stories being told. They realized that their own story, with its challenges and triumphs, was not just theirs, but part of a larger narrative shared by countless others across the universe. The performance ended with a stunning display of fireworks that lit up the night sky, each burst of color a celebration of life's diversity and beauty. Standing there, amidst the crowd of countless species, Greg and Alira felt a renewed sense of purpose. They knew the path they had chosen wouldn't be easy, but it was filled with the possibility of making a real difference. Inspired by the festival, they made a pact to not only navigate their relationship with love and respect, but also to work towards fostering understanding and acceptance among others. They envisioned creating a series of workshops and talks that could bridge cultural divides, using their unique experiences as a foundation. As they left the festival, walking back under the canopy of stars, they felt empowered. The challenges they faced seemed less daunting, knowing they faced them together, strengthened by the shared belief in their potential to enact change. In this universe of vast differences, Greg and Alira had found each other, and with that, the courage to light up the dark spaces with understanding and love. The Festival of Lights hadn't just been a celebration of culture, it had been a beacon of hope for their future. After the enlightening experience at the Festival of Lights, Greg and Alira felt more connected and committed to each other than ever before. Their journey was no longer about merely adapting to one another's worlds, but actively creating a space where those worlds could intersect harmoniously. Motivated by this new mission, they began planning their series of workshops and seminars aimed at promoting cultural exchange and understanding on Centauri Prime. The planning process was both exciting and daunting. They had to consider various aspects, such as location, the scope of topics, and most importantly, how to engage an audience that ranged from the highly enthusiastic to the deeply skeptical. They decided to start small, with a seminar series entitled Unity in Diversity, Learning from Interspecies Relationships, which would focus on the benefits and challenges of such relationships, using their own as a case study. Alira used her diplomatic connections to secure a venue at the Centauri Cultural Center, a well-respected institution known for its support of intercultural initiatives. Meanwhile, Greg reached out to his colleagues and friends across different species to gather support, encourage attendance, and ask for speakers who could share their experiences and expertise. Their first seminar was a modest affair but garnered more interest than they had anticipated. Individuals from various backgrounds attended, drawn by the curiosity of hearing firsthand about a successful human-thalassan relationship. Greg and Alira shared their story, their struggles with cultural barriers, and their triumphs in building a life together on Centauri Prime. The discussion was open and honest, with many attendees participating actively, asking questions, and even sharing their own experiences. It became evident that Greg and Alira were not alone in their journey. Many others were navigating similar paths, often feeling isolated in their struggles. The seminar provided a platform for these individuals to connect, share, and learn from each other, fostering a sense of community. Encouraged by the success of their first seminar, Greg and Alira expanded their series to include topics like cultural etiquette in business, the art of interspecies communication, and fusion cuisine, a metaphor for cultural integration. Each seminar attracted a larger audience, and the series quickly became a popular fixture at the cultural center. As the seminars grew, so did Greg and Alira's reputation as champions of cultural integration. They were invited to speak at schools, other planets within the Centauri system, and even at galactic forums, discussing the importance of understanding and embracing diversity. Their work did not go unnoticed by the local government, which began to see the value in promoting a more integrated society. They were approached to consult on policies designed to ease the integration of immigrants from different planets, turning their grassroots efforts into official strategies to enhance societal cohesion. Despite their growing success, Greg and Alira made sure to stay grounded and focused on their mission. They regularly hosted small group discussions at their home, providing a personal touch and ensuring that their initiative remained connected to the community's needs. One evening, after a particularly lively discussion group, they sat together on their balcony, looking out over the city that had become their shared home. The stars twinkled above, a reminder of the vast galaxy beyond, filled with infinite diversity and infinite possibilities. "We're really doing it, aren't we?" Greg said, a note of wonder in his voice. "We're making a difference." Alira smiled, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "We are," she agreed. "And to think, it all started with a simple act of kindness in a market." Their journey had taught them that cultural differences could be a source of strength and beauty rather than division. By choosing to embrace and celebrate these differences, they had not only enriched their own lives, but had begun to weave a new tapestry of understanding that stretched across Centauri Prime and beyond. Together, they looked forward to the future, ready to face whatever challenges it might bring. Secure in the knowledge that their love and their work were contributing to a galaxy where diversity was not just accepted, but celebrated. Their story was a testament to the power of love and understanding to bridge worlds and transform societies. Greg and Alira's seminars continued to grow in popularity and impact, drawing attention not only from the inhabitants of Centauri Prime, but also from delegates of other planets interested in replicating their model of cultural integration. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, fostering a network of like-minded individuals and groups eager to promote diversity and cooperation across species boundaries. As their influence widened, they began to focus on more specific issues that arose from interspecies interactions, such as legal rights, education adaptations for mixed-species children, and healthcare practices suitable for diverse biological needs. Their forums became think tanks for pioneering approaches to living in a multi-species society. Amidst this whirlwind of activity, they were approached by the Centauri Prime Council, an assembly of planet-wide leaders responsible for governance. The council had been observing the success of the seminars and saw an opportunity to enhance their own efforts in managing the planet's diverse population. Greg and Alira were invited to serve as cultural advisors, a role that would enable them to influence policy directly. With this new responsibility, they set up a series of workshops with council members, educating them on the nuances of interspecies relationships and the common pitfalls in policymaking that could lead to alienation or inequality. These workshops opened many council members' eyes to the complexities of creating fair and inclusive laws. Meanwhile, at a personal level, Greg and Alira faced their own set of challenges and milestones. They decided to officially bind their union through a thalassan ceremony that also incorporated elements of human traditions. This wedding was not just a personal celebration, but a public statement, symbolizing the union of cultures that they had been advocating for. The ceremony, held in one of Centauri Prime's most beautiful botanical gardens, was attended by a vibrant mix of species, each participant bringing a small symbol of their culture to share. The media coverage of their wedding helped to further promote their message of unity and acceptance, showcasing the beauty of cultural fusion to the galaxy at large. This event also served to cement their status as prominent figures in the societal integration movement. After the festivities settled, the hard work continued. Greg and Alira took their advocacy to the next level by establishing an interplanetary cultural exchange foundation, funded by both public and private sectors. The foundation aimed to facilitate exchange programs, research initiatives, and educational projects that supported the integration of diverse cultures, not just on Centauri Prime but across other planets as well. One of the Foundation's first initiatives was the Galaxy Youth Program, which brought together young beings from different planets for workshops, cultural exchanges, and collaborative projects. The program aimed to build a network of future leaders who were well-versed in the principles of diversity and cooperation. As the Foundation grew, so did Greg and Alira's hopes for the future. They often reflected on their journey, from their chance meeting to becoming pivotal figures in a galactic movement. Each step had reinforced their belief in the power of empathy and collaboration. Their efforts, however, were not without opposition. Some factions resisted the rapid changes, clinging to xenophobic sentiments and fear of the unknown. These groups occasionally organized protests against the Foundation's activities, claiming that the loss of cultural purity was too great a price for progress. Despite these challenges, Greg and Alira remained steadfast, using every obstacle as a learning opportunity and a chance to refine their approaches. They believed that fear often stemmed from misunderstanding and that dialogue and education could heal divides. Years into their mission, as they watched a group of Galaxy Youth Program participants laughing and sharing stories from their various homeworlds, Alira leaned over to Greg. "Look at them," she said, a note of pride in her voice. "They're the real future, aren't they?" Greg smiled, watching the young faces aglow with camaraderie and hope. "Yes, they are, and they'll have fewer barriers to face thanks to what everyone here is building together." Their lives had become a testament to the idea that while bringing worlds together was no easy task, it was profoundly rewarding. Together, Greg and Alira continued to forge ahead, their love for each other and their mission growing stronger with each challenge and success, proving that even the vastness of space could not deter the human spirit when united with a cause as noble as peace and understanding. As Greg and Alira's initiatives under the Interplanetary Cultural Exchange Foundation continued to flourish, they began to look beyond the immediate scope of Centauri Prime. Their vision expanded to create a broader network of cultural exchange that encompassed several key planets within the galactic community. This ambitious expansion was driven by the success of their early programs and the pressing need for deeper interstellar understanding and cooperation. The couple's next big step involved setting up a series of interplanetary symposiums. These symposiums were designed to bring together leaders, academics, artists, and policymakers from various worlds to discuss the benefits and logistics of cultural integration. The first of these, held on the neutral space station Omega Hub, was a landmark event titled Galactic Unity Through Diversity. At the symposium, Greg presented a comprehensive overview of the Foundation's work on Centauri Prime, showcasing detailed case studies, participant testimonials, and long-term societal impacts. Alira, with her diplomatic flair, facilitated discussions, helping to mediate between differing viewpoints and drawing out shy participants who might otherwise remain unheard. The event was a resounding success, sparking a series of agreements among attending planets to initiate their own exchange programs. Inspired by the positive outcomes, several planets committed to becoming part of a newly formed Galactic Cultural Alliance. This alliance aimed to support member planets through resources, expertise, and shared cultural heritage, promoting peace and mutual understanding on a galactic scale. Amid these professional achievements, Greg and Alira also took time to nurture their personal lives. They returned to Centauri Prime to celebrate their first wedding anniversary, reflecting on the whirlwind of changes and growth they had experienced together. The celebration was a quiet, intimate affair, contrasting with their public life, giving them a cherished moment of tranquility. Recharged from their brief respite, they returned to their mission with renewed vigor. The next phase involved dealing with the logistical challenges of interplanetary program implementation. Each member planet of the Galactic Cultural Alliance had unique cultural traits and governance structures, requiring tailored approaches to integration and exchange. One significant challenge was the resistance from conservative factions on various planets, similar to what they had initially faced on Centauri Prime. To address these concerns, Alira developed a series of engagement programs that included cultural sensitivity training, educational broadcasts, and community dialogue sessions. These programs were designed to reduce fears about cultural erosion and promote the benefits of diversity. Meanwhile, Greg focused on the technological and educational aspects, overseeing the development of virtual exchange environments that allowed beings from different planets to interact in real time, despite vast distances. These virtual spaces were equipped with real-time translation capabilities and cultural context guides, making them accessible and educational. As their work continued to expand, Greg and Alira became well-respected figures not just on Centauri Prime, but across the galaxy. Their foundation set a precedent for how cultural integration and mutual respect could lead to a more harmonious galactic society. One evening, while reviewing data from recent interplanetary workshops, Greg looked over at Alira, who was deep in thought. "What's on your mind?" he asked. Alira smiled, turning to him. "I was just thinking about how far we've come," she said, "from that first awkward conversation in the market to now. It's been an incredible journey." Greg nodded, taking her hand. "It has, and it's far from over. We're making a real difference, not just for us, but for the galaxy." As they sat together, looking out at the stars, they felt a profound sense of accomplishment and anticipation for the future. Their journey had taught them that love could transcend cultural and spatial boundaries, and that together they could help weave a tapestry of unity that spanned the cosmos. Their story, a blend of personal love and professional dedication, continued to inspire those around them, serving as a beacon of hope and a model for the future of interstellar relations. In the vast expanse of space, Greg and Alira had found their calling, and each other, proving that even among the stars, humanity and love could find a way to bridge worlds.